today I am making another witch's cottage in The Sims. I decided to build it in Copperdale on one of my favorite lots in the game, which at this point, Copperdale is one of my favorite worlds to build in general. And I think I've built more witchy lots in Copperdale than I have in Glimmerbrook. And that's mostly due to the fact that there are more lots in Copperdale that aren't attached to roads, and so you could kind of feel like you're in the middle of nowhere as long as you're not like focusing on the fair that's in the background. You can see what I mean as I'm building. There's that dirt pathway, and there is that really pretty wooden bridge that leads over a creek, and there is a lake on the other side of the lot. And you really don't notice any roads unless you are like angled a certain way, like there. You can see the fair off in the distance, but if you're looking at it from a different way, it could kind of feel like it's in the middle of nowhere, which I really like about this lot. It's also a decent sized lot. It's not too big, so it is not like very intimidating to get started on building for this. And maybe you remember me talking about it if you watched my last upload, which at this point is weeks ago, because I kind of had to take a little bit of a break. But I had said during that video that I wish that I added a tower to it where like the middle layer of this build would be a library, and then the top would have a balcony around the tower. So that was my main thing going into this build that I wanted to do. So I have that shape set up. I kind of did, it's like almost like a cross shape in a way. I do end up like adjusting it in different areas so it's not like completely symmetrical like that, but I end up expanding it out a little bit more when I'm actually doing the floor plan because I need a little bit more space to work with. So the build gets just a little bit bigger than this, not too much. And I didn't really do much with the landscape. I do just have like a little swamp area, and that's about it. I put some trees around and some flowers. I didn't go all out for this build. I really, it took me a while to finish this because I did have to take a little bit of a break while I was sort of working on the exterior of it. You maybe would have seen a post, I don't know when it was, in the community tab that my dog had hurt his paw, and so I really needed to dedicate more time to taking care of him and making sure he was okay. And we got a whole blizzard and stuff, and his paw was injured and in like bandages. And so I had to put like a little bag on his foot and like take him out in the snow for a few days. And so I really just didn't have the time or energy to focus on this build. And then every time I'm dealing with a stressful situation, and like once it's over, my anxiety just skyrockets, and it has to like I need to do like a reset, and I need to like try and rest to get back to a normal place for myself, which is hard to do, like because anytime I'm trying to rest, then I just feel guilty and like I'm not doing anything, and then it just makes it even harder to like kind of pull myself out of that. My dog's okay, by the way. He's been okay for at least over a week now. He only really needed like the extra care for maybe like half of a week or so. And so he's doing fine. He's like completely fine at this point. And then I couldn't get myself out of like constant anxiety, and I always really struggle to like get back to like routines after like I need like a little bit of a break. I did see an affirmation. It was like one of those posts for like March after I almost said April, March affirmations for Libras because I'm a Libra, and I had read it was like needing to take a pause isn't losing momentum, and that was something that I really had to read because I feel like every time I need to take a break and I need a pause and I need a reset, I'm always so worried about getting back into doing things and being afraid that I'm not going to be able to do everything that I was able to do before. Or at least reading that and like reminding myself of that was kind of what really helped me to finish this build this last week and edit it. Like it didn't take me very long to edit. I kind of just sat down and I breezed through it, and then I finished the build maybe not yesterday, the day before, possibly. I don't know the timeline, and now it's like I feel on my schedule for the Wednesday upload, which is what my upload schedule has become. And like I was going back and forth between like, oh no, maybe I need another week. And I was like, you know what? Just like go ahead and do it. I also pulled a tarot card for myself, which maybe it's fitting for this witchy build. I don't know. It was it the Two of Wands? Yeah, it was the Two of Wands, and the artwork really just made me feel like I'm kind of just like waiting for the right time instead of just trying to make progress on it. And so I was kind of thinking about that too, and just being like, maybe I just need to go for it, put a little bit of effort into just like getting it ready to hopefully upload this week. And at this point, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be uploaded. And there's my long explanation to why this build is weeks late to when I was hoping to upload it. I just really needed some games that I had, like, more to focus on, and, like, my mind couldn't wander while playing it. So The Sims, usually The Sims, like, and building is very therapeutic for me, and I'm able to, like, space out and just get a build done, and it's a very easy process. That hasn't been the case for me lately, and so I've been needing games that really just fully distract me, and so I've been just playing a lot of Dead by Daylight, which is my favorite game, and so that just keeps my mind very busy at all times. I also was playing some Fields of Mystery this week, which I think is a good like border into more of like a creative game where my mind can wander a little bit. So maybe that's a good sign. But I kind of talked over the entire exterior of it. I used some of the new items from the Royalty and Legacy expansion packs. So you could see like the mossy stone that I used outside, and I paired it with just like different stained glass windows. I think I used only stained glass from Realm of Magic. I really liked the way it looked for this build, and I used some of the shutters that came with Royalty and Legacy too. I think they look really nice with the Realm of Magic stuff. And Realm of Magic, I don't often use all of these sorts of windows for because I don't really like the accents on the outside of some of them. And the colorways are kind of difficult to pair with other things. But I really liked the way it looked for this, especially the big round window at the front of the build. I feel like it was a huge like statement window. Really liked how it turned out, and I like how the shutters look with the Realm of Magic stuff. And yeah, I only used Realm of Magic windows in that, so that's kind of like unbelievable for me. I figured maybe I paired in some other different pack windows, but no, it's really just Realm of Magic. I also used an Enchanted by Nature door, which I felt like looked really nice with it too, helped it feel a little bit more natural. And it's like a kind of a weird balance between like natural elements and then like these very fancy windows. They seem fancy to me, but it all works together, which I'm really happy about. I think it looks really nice. When I was doing the interior of it, I was like, wow, there's really just no views outside of this house. It is just stained glass. Because I was thinking, like, oh, it would have been so nice for them to eat breakfast at the little table and have some windows there looking out at the water. And I was like, they can't see anything out those windows. But maybe that would just mean that it would have like a really pretty like lighting situation inside. And you could see the floor plan of the build now. I have the kitchen off to the side, just one bedroom and a bathroom off of the bedroom. And then there's like the main room, which will be the living room. Then there is like the tower that ends up having the library on the like second floor, and then the top floor is another little cauldron room. There's like two cauldrons in this build. There's one right outside on the porch there and one upstairs. And I realized I didn't put a desk in this. There is definitely space where you can throw in a desk. I put in one of, I think it's the apothecary table from not Realm of Magic, from Enchanted by Nature. I threw up in the library, which you can easily swap out for a desk if you wanted to, or any of these bookcases, really, because there are so many. You don't really need all those bookcases for gameplay. I'm sure a desk could probably fit in the bedroom too, because I put more bookcases in there as well, but I think it turns out really cozy looking in the end. Another thing that I just remembered, which was a good thing that it took me so long to do this build, was that I was able to unlock some of the event reward items that is currently going on. I think it's ending very soon. So if you're watching this, it might be just ending or it could have just ended. I don't know. But I was able to use that like hidden doorway that I have right there leading to the staircases. That is from the reward event. So I was like, oh, great. Like I'm able to actually use these, but I didn't realize it was a hidden door. I was thinking I was going to use those in the upper library, And then when I was looking through the bookcases, I couldn't find it, and I had to go to the event UI, and I realized that it is in the door section. I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I could just use that for, like, the staircase area and make it a hidden staircase," which is kinda cool too, like, all the really cute, like, I don't know, that's where they do all their spell work, and it's, like, tucked away. There is also another stained glass window that you get in the new event, which I thought maybe I'd find a place for, but I didn't actually really like how it looked with the other stained glass windows that I had. So it's like I could always just find another build to use the stained glass window. I'm sure I'll get a lot of use out of that one too at some point. This wallpaper is another item that I've been wanting to use in a build and then I never really find a place for it. And so I put it down to try and use it in this build. I do use it as accent walls on the like the upper tower where the cauldron is, and I think maybe I keep it in the bedroom. I'm not sure yet. I was looking at some of the new wallpapers that came in like the Alice in Wonderland land inspired kit. I wasn't using any of that in this though, but I haven't looked at any of those items yet, so I was like going through and seeing. But I did find this wallpaper that I really love in this green color, which is from the new expansion pack. I don't know if I ended up using that in either of the builds I've built since the expansion pack came out, but I really liked that one. So I also made sure that I found a space for it in this build too, and I think I only use it in the bedroom. I don't remember if I put it in one of the towers or not. And then the other rooms, I kind of just used my like go-to base game wood paneling, and then I used some of the mossy stone from the Royalty and Legacy expansion pack too. I love the way that the Realm of Magic stove looks in here with just the base game one. I don't really like the fridge that comes with Realm of Magic that matches the stove, but the stove is really pretty in that really nice green color. And then just like one of the brown swatches of the fridge where you could actually like see in and see the items in the fridge. I really like that one. That was just from base game and it looks really good together, and it works well with the new counters that come with the Royalty and Legacy pack. I just put some plants around to decorate, a little bowl on the table, and just some of my favorite chairs that I tend to just gravitate towards recently. I think that I used to just always use the cats and dogs wooden chairs, and then when I want to try something different, I think I just immediately go to the life and death chairs because they look really nice. And I think for the color palette of this build, I really just went for what kind of matched the stained glass windows. So I was doing a lot of just accents of red around. It is the same thing with the landscape, putting red flowers here and there. Even though I didn't do too much with the landscape, there's just little pops of red. And I think I really only used flowers from the romantic garden stuff pack. I wanted to use this little like animal stool. I don't remember if I keep it. I feel like I do. I think it like looks really cute, and it's like you walk right in and it's just like right there. I did switch out this couch for like this wooden bench because I thought the wooden bench looked a little bit better with the chair I picked out, and I just used some from like the matching set that came with Royalty and Legacy. I used quite a bit from that expansion pack in this build, which is like I'm really pleased to have so many new items that I really love from a pack. So that's always nice to have like a good variety of items that I could pick through. It definitely makes building feel a little bit more refreshing when I have some new stuff that I can just like see how it works with some of the other stuff that I use. And I never really use that wooden bench that I have here or that stool. So apparently this is just a lot of stuff that I haven't used in a long time or if ever. I was trying to find a table for the TV to go on, but I couldn't find one right away. It took me a little bit of like scrolling through and I found these two tables that I end up just putting in the bedroom. I really wanted that record player to work that I have around, and I ended up just deleting it because I couldn't find a space for it. I was trying to use maybe that new table from one of the new kits that came out, but it looked a bit strange with the TV on it, so I just, like, decided not to do that, and so I just used one of, like, my go-to get-together, like, end tables. The TV fits perfectly on there, which I didn't even think I was gonna get a TV in this room, so I was impressed I was even able to do that. I had never really used that candle either. I put, like, one single one of that outside, that might be the only light outside. So if I like before I upload this, maybe I'll just put some lights outside, see how it looks at night, and make sure that there's like some lighting out there. I haven't play tested this yet, so that's probably just something I could easily do because I remember now that I didn't actually put any sims in here to make sure that things actually worked. I'm a little bit concerned about the library tower with the apothecary table being so close to the walkway and having all of those bookcases. So I might need to slide some things over there, but I'll see when I end up playtesting. I love the large window in the living room and just like the shot of it, just like you see it taking up the whole wall. It looks very pretty and it makes it so I don't really have to put too much wall art around the place because I feel like the windows are like the pieces of art. But I did put in some things here and there, but I wasn't too concerned about it. I feel like I kept it pretty simple. Like even just the kitchen has a shelf with some already like pre-made clutter on it. So I actually have to make my own, which sometimes I'm like, I think all the time actually. I use a base game shelf and then I put my own clutter and it's always like the same go-to thing. So I was like, I'm just gonna use shelves that already have kitchen clutter up so I don't actually have to go through anything. I think the living room area turned out really nice, and I was really happy that I was able to figure out some sort of floor plan that made sense. I think every time I want to use a fireplace that doesn't let me put a TV above it, I always feel very thrown off and I struggle trying to figure out a floor plan. So it was great that I was able to make it work this time where you walk in and the big fireplace is like right there and the chairs kind of make sense with how they're positioned with the TV in the other corner. So I'm glad that actually it turned out well because I feel like I every time I have a nice fireplace like that, I tend to just like not even bother with the TV at this point. And I was using some of these beaded curtains from the paranormal stuff pack, I believe that they're from. I was just using them as decoration on the walls too, just to add pops of color here and there. And I thought it looked really nice. I really liked that because I had already used that as like the bedroom door because I used archways for it because I felt like the hallway was very small. I was like, I feel like I could just do archways and I can have the beaded curtains. So it kind of looks more private than just having an archway, but also it's not like such a tight squeeze to have a door there. And here's just the bathroom. It is off the bedroom, so it's not like a hallway that leads to it. This is just a one bedroom home anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter that the only bathroom is off of the bedroom. I didn't put a shower in. I don't know if I would have been able to squeeze. Yeah, I could. I think I could have if I just moved that like counter and I put a shower there instead. I guess I could have fit one in, but I kind of liked the look of the bathroom without a shower, and so I kind of just went with this direction. I love the life and death tub. I've used it in a lot of the different colors a lot. I probably have used it in that like red, the blue, and probably the white. That's probably the colors that I actually used for the tub. But I feel like a red tub, normally I always just use a clawfoot tub that's just white. So I feel like even just using blue and red as a tub feels different for me. And so I'm always happy when I'm able to like use one of like a different swatch color for one of the bathtubs. Bringing in more of the red around that you can see. I guess I did switch out the wallpaper that I had said that had like the ivy hanging down printed on it. I went with just like a wood over here. And when I pulled out that bench that has the red like flower petals on it, I was imagining a little like nook with like bookcases and stuff. And then days later, I picked it back up because I took a little bit of a break in between some of the rooms. And so I'm glad that I remembered that's kind of what I wanted to do, which was have a little reading nook back there with that bench. That bench is really pretty. I need to use it on interiors for more of my builds at some point. And those were the areas of the house that I had to expand just a little bit. Like I'm pretty sure I made the bedroom one or two tiles longer, as well as making the bathroom, I think just one tile longer and it was perfectly fine. And now it's just kind of like finishing up adding a little bit more decorations to the downstairs before I add some more clutter to the library and then I actually do the little cauldron room. The cauldron room is actually pretty small, so I really all I could fit in there was the cauldron and maybe like one other item. I don't know, but I guess we'll see when I end up getting up there. But yeah, I'm just putting some lighting in because the bedroom was pretty dark. I was also struggling picking out a rug for this room. I felt like every red rug that I was looking at was like way too busy, and I wasn't completely sold on this rug, but I felt like it was the one that fit the best from what I was looking at. And it doesn't look super busy, and it just lets like all the other colors pop a bit more in the room, like all the reds and yellows and stuff. It really does just match the stained glass windows, which I really do like. And I remember to put in like a little witchy mirror that has crystals on and a tarot deck next to the bed. And I put one of these tarot portraits down, which I don't remember what one. Okay, I picked the magician out for that one. Matched the colors. I love the magician card in the tarot deck, so I was like, all right, that'll be perfect. Because I feel like normally I use the Empress card every single time I pick out a tarot card to put in a build. And I was like, okay, I don't want to put the Empress in. And I think I put the Fool one in the living room, if I'm remembering correctly. So I didn't want to put the same one in there. So the magician one matched pretty well there. And just adding a little bit of clutter into the library, because all it really was the bookcases and the apothecary table. So I have a rug, just some stuff on the walls, some mirrors. And now we're upstairs in the last part of the build, which is the cauldron room. I want to raise up the cauldron on a platform to just make it look a little bit more interesting, and so I had to delete that record player, which it moved in all sorts of rooms. It was in the living room, then it got moved to the bedroom, and then it got moved up here, and then it just gets deleted altogether because I couldn't find a space for it. Because this room literally only has one tile to walk around to the cauldron, and I think that the cauldron should be functional. I end up deleting the lights above it because I feel like I've had the problem where I used to have a light above a cauldron and it didn't work. I could be misremembering, but I was like, I feel like that was a thing. So I ended up deleting that and having to like just figure out different lighting. I found these cute wood carvings though with little flowers on it. I thought that would look nice up there. So I put that there. I haven't really ever used those before. More of the beaded curtains, some herbs that I lined to kind of make it feel like it flows between the two curtains. And I'm really happy I was able to use that wallpaper, even though I used it on one specific wall. I think it looks actually really nice how I used it. And so if I put it in like more areas, I think it would have been overkill. It would have just looked a bit strange. And I think that it just looks nice on the one single wall there that doesn't have any windows or doors. There isn't too much in this room, but I feel like, again, it's like the perfect amount of clutter. Didn't really need anything else. And now you can see the screenshots of the build. I accidentally put these ones out of order, so the top floor is the cauldron one, and then the middle, but I think you could tell anyway, especially if you watch the entire thing. I love that round window in the living room. I think that's my favorite part of the build, as well as just like pops of color mixed in with all the different wood tones. I really like the way that this one came out. And as always, thank you so much for watching and also sticking with me through my many sudden breaks where sometimes I just don't have an upload for a little bit. But I'm happy to be able to upload this one this week. And we'll see about next week. If I do upload, it will be a tiny build, but we'll see when I get there. I'll see you all soon. Bye.